to raise funding, and there are certainly lots of risks involved in it. You know, if you're in the industry and you see this, you see hundreds of millions of dollars being poured into these ICOs. And a lot of them are really great ideas that are triggering what I like to call the age of decentralization. That we are decentralizing old systems such as companies, governments, and simple systems, or maybe not so simple systems like e-commerce and the sharing economy. You know, right now the sharing economy has come from companies like Uber and Airbnb, but they're just the first stepping stone, and they are on their way to being disrupted themselves because of this great technology. So many people know about Bitcoin. Who here owns Ether? Okay, cool. Almost half, a little bit more than half. Awesome. So a lot of people know about Ether. Ether is a very different animal from Bitcoin. It's, as you know, a platform to develop applications on that may one day replace companies like TradeMe and Uber and Facebook. So that's really exciting. However, we are here to talk about another platform that might even be better than Ether or Ethereum. I don't know. The speaker might know better than myself. But he's going to talk about smart applications. And from Satinder's own words, it's a very different architecture from how Ethereum works. And so he'll be talking about that today. He works on a project called SuperNET, which is part of the Komodo blockchain. And if you will give our speaker, Satinder, a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you all for joining me today. My name is Satinder. I work for a project called SuperNET, and my work in SuperNET is to make the GUI wallet for the project. It's a multi-currency cryptocurrency wallet and supports multiple cryptocurrencies like Litecoin, Bitcoin, all sort of Bitcoin supported or very close to Bitcoin protocol supported cryptocurrencies in that. So if I talk about what exactly this Bitcoin is, well, before starting on this talk, I want to say my development area is kind of limited to the overview structure of the architecture, understanding the concepts, and making those to a visual concepts so that users can interact with the application, with the core structure or architecture of this application. So I'll try to cover the core concepts, which are very technical. This talk is going to be a bit of technical rather than general. This whole platform itself is more of what you can say a back-end technology for the decentralized application platforms. So you can compare it to the back-end architecture infrastructure part, but you cannot say it's the front-end part of like exactly showing you the how can I say the applications kind of you are running on the mobile. The user in the end, in the eventual gradual stages, will say, I use this application, but they might not be aware it is actually using these kind of back-end architecture, which are more efficient, more stable, more what you say, better performing architecture. So if I talk about SuperNet, it's a decentralized platform. You can say if there are so many multiple cryptocurrency networks, and all of these networks are doing all these cryptocurrency transactions and operations within their own network, they are still doing all of those within their own islands. They are kind of isolated in their own networks. In case of having those communicated with other blockchains, the interoperability or communication between different blockchains, there has to be a bridge in between. And that bridge is what SuperNet makes. And that is working as a middleware framework or a middleware platform, which is giving a bridge to different cryptocurrencies and making their own different, a peer-to-peer network, connecting all of them together. So it's a different kind of architecture. You cannot compare it with any cryptocurrency project because SuperNet platform itself is not a cryptocurrency, but it has a cryptocurrency of its own as an architecture to fuel it, to make those transactions work, to make those networks secure, and to make sure the system does not cheat. Or if somebody tries to cheat, that node or that attacker gets punished. So there are actually, if I talk about a little bit technical, there is a daemon, an application called Iguana. Iguana is what is providing these APIs to developers, a framework to interact with this whole application frameworks. So there is a good quote from its lead developer, James Lee, JL777. JL777 is anonymous, just like Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows who she is, whatever, and where that person is. So I like one quote from him, which says, a lot of coins talk about innovation, but Komodo already has those innovations. If I really talk about innovations, this project was started in September 2014, if I'm correct. And from there, it started with a decentralized exchange. How many of you know about NXT coin? And how many of you have done assets exchange or trading on that platform? Okay, so if I talk about those innovations, if I list those, it'll be a long list. And if I talk about those, it'll take hours. So I will only cover a few of them, but not all. So yeah, so I just want to show the list of those innovations in quick 2 slides. So in 2 slides, it's more. But there are even more which I haven't listed those. So let's cover the currency, the Komodo architecture currency. So Komodo is an architecture currency which fuels this network, which can be used as kind of, you compare it with a gas of Ethereum, a token which is used to make those applications work and make sure it is operating based on that fuel. So where this Komodo blockchain started and how it started. So how many guys you know Zcash? What is Zcash? Nice. So Zcash is a project which is privacy-centric, security-centric. It derived its code from Bitcoin source code. And from Zcash, the Komodo source code was derived. So Zcash guys, the developers, copied the code of Bitcoin, all code, and added the privacy feature like ZK snarks. What this does is it actually makes the transactions of Bitcoin network very, very secure. Like you cannot even say what exactly is in those transactions. So if I say Bitcoin ledger has a transaction information which is openly available on the blockchain explorers, which are explored online, and you can also query those in the APIs of Bitcoin network. You can see, for example, very loose example, like sender's address, receiver's address, the amount was sent, and what time it was sent, any other metadata on that transaction. So all of that information in Zcash ledger is hidden. There are 2 types of transactions in Zcash ledger, and that is a transparent transaction and a private Z transactions. So these transactions are also including one more field, or you can say one more object in the transactions, and that is ZK snarks. And ZK snarks are a ciphertext, a hashed text, and which is linked to that transaction, but the information of senders, receivers, and amount is not shown. That is hidden. That is encrypted in Z transactions, the private transactions. So all these private transactions are not only visible to the person who is sending and who is receiving that transactions. Nobody else can, view those transaction information. So that's a privacy architecture. It's different from other platforms which I have seen because it is using the algorithm, the encryption technology itself, and not doing any jumbling, or ring signatures or ring technology to make it anonymous. So while the Komodo platform copied the code of Zcash, we also derived this feature in Komodo. And because Zcash was copied from Bitcoin, so Zcash also holds the same Bitcoin features and everything from Bitcoin. And Komodo was derived from Zcash, so Komodo also derives all those features. But copying all these code, what these projects usually does is not just plain do copy and paste. They also add their own new features, own new properties, own new products or applications which are providing more good value to the project. So these kind of features in Komodo are like delayed proof of work, which is a new innovation, a new consensus model for making this blockchain even more secure. Okay, how many people understand what is proof of work or proof of stake? Okay, that's good. So I will explain on delayed proof of work today. There are even more technologies like asset chains, a Bitcoin tumbler, and digital currencies, fiat-pegged digital currencies. I will cover those a little bit, but I want to emphasize more on the native decentralized exchange and delayed proof of work. So if I cover those, so delayed proof of work is another consensus mechanism which acts as a second layer of security for Komodo blockchain. So Komodo, just like Zcash, is using equihash algorithm to make its blockchain secure. The miners are mining their blocks using equihash algorithm, using the GPUs or other units. So, but Komodo, being a new cryptocurrency in this industry, it is a small network. If we compare it to Bitcoin network, it is a very small network. Because the network expands and the security of network expands if there are more miners to securing those network nodes, validating those transactions, validating if there is no transaction malleability happening, validating if there is no attacker attacking the network. So all of this is doing by the proof of work miners, those equihash miners. Delayed proof of work is inheriting the security of Bitcoin to Komodo. And that is, every 10 minutes, it is putting a checkpoint on a Bitcoin network. So the delayed proof of work algorithm, in delayed proof of work, you are able to deploy this functionality to proof of work blockchain, which is Komodo. You can also apply this to proof of stake blockchain like NXT, BitShares, or any other likes. It makes even stronger. So to make this delayed proof of work, we need notary nodes who are actually taking the block hash of latest Komodo blocks, which are mined by notary nodes as well, and some miners as well. So every 1 minute, Komodo mines a new block, and that block hash is recorded by the notary nodes, and every 10 minutes, a group signed transaction to send a Bitcoin is sent to the Bitcoin network with that Komodo's block hash. So every 10 minutes, Komodo is doing a checkpoint of this Komodo's latest block to Bitcoin. So the difference here is, some people asked if why we are not using merge mining. It looks similar to merge mining. So merged mining, the miners need to have a cooperation. They want to run your cryptocurrency side by side Bitcoin mining. But with this delayed proof of work, we don't need that kind of cooperation. We are just making a simple custom transaction and a group signed transaction by these 64 notary nodes, special notary nodes. And how these notary nodes came to existence is they are selected by the Komodo holders, the Komodo token holders, and they vote on these notary nodes. And these 64 notary nodes are selected, and they set up their own special high-power, high-performance servers. And those servers are doing all these notarizations on Bitcoin network. Okay. So the next I want to cover is the native decentralized exchange. So the native decentralized exchange is, how many of you heard about Bittrex, BitShares decentralized exchange, and NXT's decentralized exchange, and Wave's decentralized exchange? Okay, so the decentralized exchange concept, I should clear that before I go on to the native DEX. So the decentralized exchange model is, just like centralized exchanges, you are trading your coins, trading your pairs of different on a Bitcoin network, or maybe the cryptocurrency network, whichever it is built on top of. And you are able to trade those tokens or those assets or those coins with the main currency of that network. For example, if you have, I can show you, just give me a sec. So yeah, so that is called a decentralized exchange, and that's an example of NXT's decentralized exchange. What you're seeing is a local host address, which means it is running on a local API. The blockchain API is accessed locally. And all of these list of assets are showing these are exchanged or tradable against the NXT token. And that's how it looks like to buy or sell those. Yeah, I don't have any. So what this does is it sends, or you are sending your Bitcoin, for example, to some middle person, some service, or some escrow service who is giving you a token on this blockchain. And those tokens are equal to the main or real crypto tokens like Bitcoin or Litecoin and so on. And you can trade those on this decentralized exchanges. So that's a kind of a model of NXTs, and that model was also delivered by SuperNet project like 3 years ago. So you get usually an address like this over here. If we press it, I don't know if it will do it right now. So it gives you that address. You send your Bitcoin to that address, and what it gives you a Bitcoin which shows in your NXT wallet. And those can be seen over here, and you can trade those for NXT, and you are kind of trading your Bitcoin on a decentralized exchange. So if this clears you, it is, I would say, a much better architecture or much better approach than centralized exchange, because you are having at least a token of yours on a decentralized exchange and nobody can hack it, because you are controlling your token, which are in your control. The private keys or the keys to access those tokens are in your hand. In centralized exchanges, this is not the case. You are actually sending your cryptocurrency to somebody's service, and that's a centralized service. The keys are not in your hand. The keys in that service provider's hands. That service can go away. They can be hacked, and they can be shut down, and you lose your currency. That's a bad experience, and it has been done by like the experiences of Mt. Gox, if everybody understand and know the good history of it. So with this architecture, it's a hybrid model of decentralized exchange, I would say, because you are still putting your trust in somebody or some service, no matter if that's a real person, no matter if that is a service which is running by the software, a program, which is discoded in the blockchain. So it can still happen. Somebody can still find those servers which are connected to this decentralized network. Those can still be attacked, and I would say it's more secure than centralized servers, but I would say this is still a possibility. Those can be compromised. With a native DEX, that is a different case. So what native DEX does? So with native DEX, you are not sending any of your real cryptocurrency to anybody, not to service, not to escrow person, not to a software, not to anybody. All your cryptocurrency holds in your local wallet, the real wallet that you are protecting your cryptocurrency into. So if you say you have this Bitcoin wallet and you want to trade, for example, Komodo with somebody, or Litecoin with somebody, or Dogecoin with somebody, maybe Ethereum, maybe Waves, or any other supported cryptocurrency by this network, you can do that without any third party or any middle person in this network. So that is what a SuperNet project is doing. It connects all of that. Let me show you a demo screen as well. So I was working on that GUI, which is still in development. So you can see it is showing you a selling pair and the buying pair. And it is also running a file, which is a local file. And what it is actually doing is it is interacting with the API or the program or the wallet running on your local machine, the native wallet exactly running on your local machine. And that is interacting with the bridge of SuperNet. That's also a wallet or an application running side by side those native wallets, which is allowing you to connect with different peer-to-peer nodes who are providing their orders, or they're putting their orders just like you have seen in the NXT. So all of those things are happening peer-to-peer on this network. So in this network, you are doing direct trades from your wallet to another person over the network. You are putting your order of sell or buy, and those are completing in a few minutes. So the problems in native decentralized exchange, or kind of attempts that happened before, is liquidity. The liquidity is a unique approach of this native DEX. If a decentralized exchange is happening, for example, I have been experiencing NXT for a good chunk of time, since I actually entered in crypto land, since 2014, December. So to my experience, only those people were able to trade their tokens of Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and so on, supported tokens on NXT, which were having NXT. what if they were able to trade directly? And what if they were able to put more orders openly? Anybody could make their node as a selling node, a native node. And anybody is able to do the same funds to buy other tokens. So the liquidity provider works in a way. For example, you have one Bitcoin. You send that to for example, you're sending it to centralized exchange. You put that one Bitcoin to buy, for example, 100 Litecoins. Now you have put your order. You cannot use the same Bitcoin for a different cryptocurrency to buy. For example, you want to buy Waves, a Dash, maybe Ethereum, but you cannot use those because that is already in the order, and it's already busy. But with native decentralized exchange, that's a little different model. You can use the same funds to place orders for different other pairs. And with that, you are actually multiplying your funds ability to liquidate this decentralized model of exchange. What happens is, if some of the pair of yours is filled, the other orders are either canceled or adjusted to make another buy or sell order on the network. So that's a unique concept which SuperNet's native DEX is bringing. So that summarized very quick. I wasn't expecting that quick. So I can cover a little more on the other technologies. One more interesting feature of Komodo network. So 5% appreciation or 5% interest on your holdings. This is a unique feature as well. Just like, for example, one person is having 100 Komodo coins holding in their wallet. And those Komodo coins are, for example, started in January, for example. If that person closed the wallet, does not ever open it, and opens that in December, 31st December, for example, what that person will see is it's not actually 100 Komodo, it is 105 Komodos. The person does not even need to open the wallet to get that interest. It is accruing that interest, the compound interest, on top of the holdings. And that is happening offline. All that person needs to have is to hold that currency in their wallet and should have access to the wallet's private keys. That's the only thing that person needs. I should also cover there is a supply of around 100 million coins in the network that is circulating. The total of supply will ever be 200 million. The ICO happened in November 2015. We raised around 2,600 Bitcoin, and 10% of that is reserved for the advisors, development, the bounties. So 80% of that in next 14 years will be accrued by the Komodo token holders. And the rest of the 20% will be mined by the miners and the notary nodes. Okay, so the next interesting feature is Komodo asset chains. So that's an independence of these tokens or assets from the main blockchain. What asset chains are? The asset chains are independent blockchains. For example, you understand Bitcoin is an individual different network. And Litecoin is another individual network. Ethereum is another individual network. Just like that, Komodo asset chains are also individual independent network. They are not actually sitting or operating on top of Komodo's main network. They're totally individual. And with delayed proof of work, these asset chains are also secure, and they're also as secure as Bitcoin network because they are inheriting the security of Bitcoin through a proxy of Komodo. When Komodo network is sending those notarized checkpoint to Bitcoin, the asset chains can send their checkpoint notarization to Komodo instead. So through that proxy, all those asset chain tokens or asset chain blockchains are secured as close to as Bitcoin network is. Another good feature about asset chains, that is on-demand blocks. The size of asset chains is very small because the blocks of these asset chains are only mined when there is actually a transaction happening in the network. So that's on demand. It's light as on system resources. It's light because it's on demand and uses very less system resources to mine, RAM, CPU, network speeds, everything. And it inherits all the features of Komodo. Whatever Komodo has, it has all those features. Key value, private transactions, delayed proof of work, able to do atomic swaps, which is native decentralized exchange. And that's an interesting slide, especially for the developers. So to create a new asset chain, all you need to do is just to do this first command. Komodo, the AC name, grid, for example, the name of that asset chain is grid Auckland, and the supply is about 1 million, and you are generating this. When you issue this command, it will start mining first 100 blocks on that server, whichever you execute it onto. And you can, right after executing this, issue this another command, Komodo CLI, to query the information of this blockchain, this asset chain. And if some client nodes wants to connect to this, they are using the another, example, which is not doing with gen, and instead it is using the add node parameter in this command. And using that, they are able to connect to the main blockchain, which was generated on the servers, which is quite simple as compared to the other projects you might have, say, for example, if some developer wants to make their own blockchain project, either they are forking Bitcoin code, Litecoin code, or some other blockchain code, or another person might be using Ethereum's I don't remember the name of that contract, to make those tokens on Ethereum's main chain. This is totally different. We are not making those tokens on top of a main blockchain. We are making those independent blockchains. So that's a big advantage. So let's get to the fiat currencies. So we also have in this project, using the same asset chains technology, we made another feature which is pegged to the price or value of 32 national currencies over the globe, including New Zealand dollars, US dollars, Singapore dollars, yuans, euros, like that, 32 of them. So if I want to show exactly, it is not actually GUI right now, and it's kind of 80% complete. You can do deposits, but the withdraw feature is right now disabled for security reasons. We found there was some vulnerability, so we disabled the withdraw, and that's why it is not in the GUI. So what happens in the command line is we are querying the price of those pegged fiat currencies, which are recorded on each block of Komodo, and all these prices can be queried on as the blocks advance. All these prices are recorded by the notary nodes, 64 notary nodes, and it makes sure that no notary node is cheating and manipulating this price. So that's kind of examples in the command line, which is giving the results of KMD's USD price on the timestamp, on which blockchain height, and the price in USD. If somebody wants to know the value of 100 Komodos. That is this much. So yeah, I can also maybe show you in a GUI wallet. Okay, while I'm doing that, I can go to another slides. So all of these fiat currencies can be natively exchanged with other coin pairs on the network. You can trade these with Bitcoin or any supported blockchain token available on this native decentralized exchange. So to get, for example, to get a USD token on the USD pegged chain, you are sending your Komodos to the address of your USD, and the value of whatever the Komodo is currently in the market is used as the value it will convert to the USD. If I say coin market cap, so right now, value of one Komodo is $1.77. So if I send one Komodo to the address of my USD chain, it will give me $1.77. And that will be able to accessible. I am able to open this wallet now. So I select my USD chain to activate in light mode. You do not actually need to download the whole blockchain. And it is accessing those, and that's how you are able to see the transactions over there. You can activate Komodo. That is in light mode. And you can send those to the address of your this address, the USD wallet's address, and you will get the US dollar value over here. So that's deposit part. So you are able to deposit it. In the backend, it is doing that deposit command, actually, and it is not yet supported in the light mode. It is only supported in the native mode. Native mode is the mode which is using the actual daemon, the real blockchain daemon, the Komodo daemon. So it is using that command line parameters and depositing those. So have I left anything? So yeah, in this fiat pegged asset chains or Komodo currencies, there is no trustless person. It is only the software. It is only the network rules which are doing this. There is another cryptocurrency, if you might know or not know, Tether USD, which is run by some company, and that company is issuing those tokens and giving you a surety that, I'm not sure they give you a surety or not, but they are you are able to convert those USDs, real USDs, to the cryptocurrency USDs. But in this model, you are not trusting some party. You are only trusting Komodo network and only trusting the notary nodes. And the notary nodes are also secure, doing the delayed proof of work. They cannot harm the network. The protocol is designed the way no notary node can at least cheat or not able to cheat with the network. So that's a quick overview of fiat pegged asset chains. So let's get to the smart contracts. If you get the idea of how these tokens are generated, it is independent. That means you can create the smart contract ability in these asset chains. And that is also very different. With these asset chains, the coding of those smart contracts is not coded in a new language. Like Ethereum is using Solidity. We are giving the ability to code these smart contracts in any language which is compiled to binary code. So, for example, if a developer knows or understands C language, C++, C#, Swift language, Rust language, Go, any language of their choice, which can be compiled to a binary code, they can use the linked library and use that linked library to use the functions and any classes they want to and code that using their own language. A good thing about this is they are able to make a flawless smart contract application, and it has less chances to have errors. They know and understand the good practices using that cryptocurrency language, their machine language, compile language, and that's much faster, more efficient. Because it is doing those smart contracts on asset chains, there is no case or no chances of needing solutions kind of sharding. So it is, from its architecture level, very lightweight, more efficient, and more scalable. It gives you the ability to govern your cryptocurrency token or assets or the smart asset chains to do the things as you wish, being a developer, a business owner. So, for example, if your main cryptocurrency network decides to raise the fees of transaction of these tokens, the kind of Ethereum, they say, if you want to transact your tokens on this network, you have to pay a higher fee now. This kind of things are not applying to these asset chains or smart contract-driven smart asset chains. So they are independent. They can have their own rules, or own token levels, own smart capabilities. So yeah, another feature is we will be giving you a decentralized organization feature. For example, just like I showed you asset chain creation, you will be able to give a command which is giving you the addresses of 2 parties, 3 parties, or however parties wants to be the deciding or a partner of this project. For example, 2 of the person wants to make or start a company or organization. They want to have the ability to vote for the decisions they want to make on this network. So all that voting feature, all that multi-signature decisions features and transaction feature will be available out of the box. Yeah. So Komodo peer chains, that is more interesting. So because, and that is actually related to the native decentralized exchange and the asset chains. It is a scalability solution for these Komodo currencies. With peer chains concept, you are able to make dynamic chains which are one-to-one swappable to Komodo tokens, and which are dynamically expanding or going down with their count. And the idea is you can have these these chains which can be geographically created. A town can have its own chain which is 1:1 swappable to Komodo. A state level, then those can be connected to another town level, city level, and to each other. That also gives the ability to have a very small size of storage for these peer chains running on different nodes at different network at geographical ways. And that way, the whole national currency can be converted to a cryptocurrency. And because the Komodo's one block is 1 minute, and if I say, so 2 MB block, yes. So Komodo's every block is 2 MB in size, and let's say it has 4,000 transactions per block. We started 60 plus transactions per second. And with 100 parallel blockchains, this can be 6,000 transactions. And we're planning a demo soon. And with that demo, we will be going more than these parallel chains, and that will be hitting or expected to hit 10,000 transactions per second. So there is more information, so it's quick. So yeah, showed you, that's another GUI wallet that is built in Java. I've already showed you the Agama wallet. So the Agama wallet is able to start and have multiple cryptocurrencies. These are not actually connected to the centralized servers like other multi-cryptocurrency wallets you might have seen in the market. These are all running locally, or these are running in the light mode. And the light mode is, for those cryptocurrencies which are running in light mode, those are running on notary nodes, the 64 notary nodes, which are special nodes on the network of Komodo. So that's the Java-based wallet of Komodo. I've already showed you the CoinMarketCap, and these are the exchanges where it is available to buy or sell, and some of the links. So yeah, thank you. That's all. Thank you. Yeah. So any questions? Yes?
You know, so you can create your own asset chain, and in there, so you said when you create your own asset chain, it uses your computer as the primary node.
Yep.
If you create an asset chain and then turn your computer off, what happens to your asset?
Main thing, for creating asset chains, you need a static IP. That means, for the start, you have to have a static IP because you are just one single node starting this asset chain. That means you will be creating this asset chain probably on a central server somewhere which is accessible globally everywhere. Or if it is your home network, you make sure your IP does not change, it is static. Once you start this, and once many other nodes start to synchronize with your main first asset chain node, they have already those blocks. And all those blocks are now synchronizing with the network, and once this expands, if you shut down your node, the blockchain data is already in the network. When you start again, you'll be following those nodes, whoever is mining those asset chain blocks on theirs.
You have to add the other nodes manually? The code that you had?
Yes, yes.
So you're choosing people to run your nodes?
Yes.
What about if you don't add anyone, if you just shut your machine down? Is there any
it will die.
left on the
Means
network? Is there like a, you know?
It will go. It will go away.
Spend some coins and go shut your machine off and go, okay, bye.
Yeah, it will go away because you are just a single node. It's just that's the usual. Like you are shutting down. There's no other way. You will lose your blockchain.
Also, another question with the decentralized exchange. Is it a fee-based exchange, or are you getting one-for-one? So there's actually fees that go back?
Yes. There is a fees which is based on the cryptocurrency coin tokens traded on the network. There is another fee which is on the example of Alice and Bob's side. There is only fees to Alice, whoever is buying using their holding. For example, I have a Komodo and I want to buy Bitcoin with my Komodo. Because I have Komodo side is Alice side, for example. And Bitcoin is the Bob side. So only the LS side is giving this fees. And that fees is only 1/777 the part of the whatever trade is happening. That is the only part. 1/777. Yeah. So this is needed because this actually a part of this protocol, which is making sure no party is cheating in this network. And if somebody tries to, the transactions are reverted back, and original owners of those holdings get back their coins. Yep. Yes.
The fiat currencies, is that a dynamic exchange rate? Can I hold two currencies and interchange and get exchange rate benefits?
Exactly, yes. You can do replicate the same forex trading in this native decentralized exchange. Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
Okay, so on that point, let's say I have one Komodo and I do the clever crypto thing to turn it into US dollars, okay, on the network, okay, and that's giving me 1.77 some units at the moment because the 64 notary nodes are reporting that that is the actual exchange rate. So I'm holding it in there, and let's say that the value of Komodo drops 50% over the next month, right? Then I've still got 1.77 US dollars, but now Komodo notary nodes are reporting that, hey, that's worth 2 Komodo. So I should be able to close that contract off, as it were, and receive 2 Komodo.
Yes.
Where does that second Komodo come from?
That's a part of core protocol. You might find more detail over there. I understand from the concept point of view, and what I understand is there is a limit of 40,000 in the first implementation. This pegged fiat assets, it's the first implementation. And in this first implementation, there is 40,000 US dollar worth of holding going up or down, which is coded in this network. So it is from the architecture level, it is not going up or down than the 40,000 worth of Komodos. So it might not be giving you a clear answer, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned the 40,000 US dollars.
Yes.
Do they exist in the real world? Are they in a bank account or in a safe?
Not in the bank account. They are already existing in the blockchain. Those are reserved for this protocol.
Yes, but I mean, are there, quote, real US dollars to offset?
No, not the real US dollars. The value of those. Yes.
The value of the 40,000.
Yes. However, the value of that.
Were to actually dip below 40,000 New Zealand dollars.
Second.
If the Komodo network were to drop below the $40,000, New Zealand or US, whatever it was, then it would be impossible to provide that.
Yes, your tokens will be held in the same blockchain, and those will not be converted until the price is going up. The second implementation of this pegged fiat assets will make this a dynamic, not just static limit of 40,000. Then it will be keep on check on the market, and it will be going up or down in this deposit or withdraw values, the worth of tokens a person is doing.
All right, so if the Komodo network is losing value, then it dynamically reduces the...
Yes.
But again, it's still possible to lock in, let's say I lock in $1 million US dollars.
Yeah.
And then the value of the Komodo drops basically almost close to zero. I can't possibly have $1 million because there's no real $1 million that's out there to offset it. No matter what the 64 notary nodes say, their network, in sum total, they give me the keys to everything. It's still not worth $1 million. So there's no way that it could be pegged to the US dollars in that way. I mean, the value would have to come down at some stage.
So that's a dynamic, what you say, going up or down worth of Komodos can be converted or converted back.
Dynamic would have to force me to liquidate my position from US dollars if the network were losing value. It wouldn't allow me to hold them because otherwise it just wouldn't work long term. It would snap.
I think it's better if you ask this question directly to the lead developer. I might not be in the position of giving you the good answer, a satisfactory answer. Yeah. Any other questions?
So you're running these for people? Is that...
People are running
the
this.
actual revenue run this. How do you guys, feed yourselves?
Oh yes, that's also very interesting questions. So I should show you another page.
So every email you sent to JL777 has given you an interesting answer as to how you should expect to eventually be paid.
I asked him so many questions. I'm into this project since like January of 2015. So I asked him a lot of questions. So with the holding of Bitcoin, whatever Bitcoin we raised in our ICOs, to support our own network, some of that is used to buy another different projects. We are investing all in those projects and are holding those cryptocurrencies for long term. And all these holdings are giving us a value, a NAV value for our holdings. So these are going to be used for development. And there is one slide I can show you. So as of 26 June, the Komodo's own value or market cap is 205 million. And what we are holding, the 10%, is around 18 million. So And the Unity value, that's another asset of Komodo's or SuperNet project. And its value is the net asset value. So market cap of that is 28 million. So these are the funds available for the project to support it long term. So we are using those funds for development. So we can say that we can assure for next 10 years, 15 years, we are not going away. We will still be in the market to support this. Yeah.
Do you report your transaction rates?
Sorry, second?
Do you report transaction rate growth on your network? In terms of how many transactions are occurring week in, week out, to see whether the network is being used more and more?
For that, you need analytics tools. Yeah. And for that, so far, what I have seen is just the blockchain explorers. I'm not aware if there is any analytics tools. There was one explorer like KBX.io, but that person shut it down. It was very similar to Zchain Zchain, yeah. So that was very similar to Zcash's block explorer. That same person was giving the service to us. But for some reason, he shut down that block explorer for Komodo. And on his block explorer, we could see those kind of analytics tools or information, the data, the transactions happening in the network. We are looking for some kind of
some sort of stat in terms of distributed apps being developed on top of this. Do you have a marketplace or somewhere you can see the ecosystem and what it's up to and how many people are actively developing?
Right now, those applications, those features are developed in-house, and we are welcoming any person or any project who wants to build their project on top of ours. We have few projects. If I don't know if Wallet is running. So we have few asset chains, like MVP lineup. Where it is. I'm not sure. So that is a project who is doing, I don't know what is this. This is regarding games and bets and something like that. So they are holding their projects on this asset chain. They are making there. So once this native decentralized exchange is active, the trading of their asset will be starting trading on this network. So like this, there is another project, seal.io. And so mostly these are our own assets. Like bets is our own SuperNet's asset. It's a project. Bots is for trading bots. The trading bots will be used in native decentralized exchange. Crypto is another asset which is holding another different assets or crypto tokens holding the value. And same is like HODL. InstantDEX is the asset for the decentralized exchange. The fees which is collected by this protocol, this project, is going to be given to people who will be holding the tokens of InstantDEX asset. So it will be given as a dividend. So one is Pangea. Pangea is also interesting. It's a decentralized poker, and the smart contract ability is in development, and Pangea will be operational once the smart contract ability is coded. And yeah, one is Space Mesh. That's my project. That is a decentralized network, a mesh network project. So that's mine. So yeah, a few of them. But we are welcoming any other project who wants to start on this. Yeah.